Hi there. As I'm talking so much about emotional mastery or learning how exactly to choose how you feel, how to make energy shifts or emotional shifts that allow you to feel the way you want to feel, regardless of the circumstances of your life, it occurred to me that rather than talk about it, I could just show you how it's done. And so in this recording, I just want to give a demonstration of myself using the In Deeper process, um, which is the 5 steps that I've learned by working with people over time that helps us learn how to make shifts in our emotional state. So I'm actually going to use an example from yesterday, something that I worked with because I'm not feeling anything today that I would have to work with in real time. But I will describe to you exactly what I did yesterday. So um, I yesterday started and launched my small group emotional mastery program, and it felt really good, and oh my gosh, wonderful people. So I'm really happy about that. So first session, and then later in the day, I was feeling it had gone really well and I was happy with it. And then just some niggly thoughts, perfectionism, I would say, from the past just got me thinking, oh, maybe I should have done this differently, or I wonder how that landed. And I could just feel myself sort of ruminating um, about maybe what I should have done differently, and then kind of reviewing the facts in my head, which wasn't enough information to actually know. And so one of the things I know, I'm going to show you this little picture, is that there's a distinction between thoughts and feelings. And we tend to collapse these two things together in our experience before we know how to distinguish them. But thoughts are words or ideas or concepts that pass through our mind, and feelings are sensations in our body. And our minds speak in words and our bodies speak in sensation. And while the facts of a situation don't often change really quickly, the feelings or sensations in our body are very, very responsive to attention, and they can change very quickly. So this is the basis of the In Deeper process. So just using my example, I can tell the same thoughts are kind of, what that's like, where they just, um, you go in a circle in your mind and your mind's trying to figure out, oh, maybe if I can see something or figure something out, I'll know what to do, which is actually the mind's tricky way of going, oh, if I can figure out what to do, I won't have to feel this feeling. And so I know enough by now to know, okay, what I really need to do here, as compulsive as the thinking is, I just need to sit for a minute and pay attention to and feel this feeling until it's not there anymore. So let me tell you how that went. And so that's the beginning of the In Deeper process, is just to recognize, oh, there's a feeling here that wants to be felt. And now I'm going to take the time to do that. And just to show you these little cards I actually made for my In Deeper, or my emotional mastery mini course, which is in my store, which is a longer version and a guided version of what I'm showing you here now. But the In Deeper process is actually an acronym. I think it's an acronym for the 5 steps, which is invite, decide, explore, play, and recheck. So I'm just going to tell you how I did this yesterday. So the first step is invite. So what I did was I just got quiet and I sat down and intended to do the In Deeper process. So I thought, okay, I'm just noticing these thoughts and the nature of them. What's the quality or what's the feeling of those thoughts? And I could tell it was just something like unsettled. I just feel unsettled. And so I just then thought, here's the invite, is just invite that sensation to come to the forefront of my awareness. So it's like an invitation to my body to say, show me where this sensation is most intense. Where is this feeling? Or in my children's book that's just about to be published, I call it a feeling spot. So where is this feeling spot? So I'm just kind of scanning my body to see where is this feeling of this unsettledness or uneasiness in my body. And what I notice is that it's kind of in my face. It's not anywhere lower in my body. It's not in my chest. It's not in my throat. It's just in my face and sort of in front of my face, which is really interesting with emotions, because if you think your body ends or you end where your skin is, it's a great surprise to discover actually emotional energy and energy sits in our field around us, and that we're actually bigger than our bodies. So I can just feel this sensation sort of in the front of my face and out in front of my face. And so I take my attention there because I found my feeling spot, I found the sensation, and now I'm going to go to work because I want that feeling or energy to shift. And I know, excuse me, that my attention there and my willingness to simply feel what's there to be felt is going to take that energy that's in that form, because it's my energy, and through physics, it's going to just change it into something that feels less disruptive and very, very calm and peaceful. So I already know this is going to happen because I've done this so many times, and now it's just a matter of doing the work. So I've invited my body to show me the sensation. I can find it, I can sense it. And the second step then of the process is invited, I decide, and I decide it's okay with me if this feeling or this sensation now changes. And this is a really important step of the process, is because it's where, I just decide, even though there's all this justification for me feeling the way that I am feeling, it's okay with me to feel differently about this subject. Even if the subject doesn't change, even if I don't have more information, even if I don't know what to do, nothing. I'm not dealing with the situation anymore. All I'm doing is working with the energy. And so I'm deciding, yes, it's fine with me if this feeling of uneasiness or unsettledness turns to peace. So that's my decision. Yes, this is fine. So then the next stage of the in deeper process, so I've invited the feeling to be present. I've decided it's fine for it to change. Now I'm just going to explore. And all of that is just allowing myself to notice what that sensation feels like. So I already said I could tell its location. It's in my face and in front of my face. So that's interesting. I can just take my attention there and feel around and see, ask questions, sort of, just the curiosity to say, like, how intense is that feeling? Say from 1 to 10. And I'm like, well, that might be like, it's really light. Maybe it's a 0.5. When I used to do this work in the early days, feelings were so intense. They would be like a 10 on the 1 to 10 scale. But now they sit really lightly inside me. And so this is maybe like a 0.5. It's there. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't want it to be there anymore. And it's not so strong that it's overwhelming, but it's just like a nuisance. And it's causing me to think thoughts that reflect the uneasiness. And I want to be able to think different thoughts about this situation. And so I'm just at this point, just exploring the energy. I can tell it's just like a light field. It doesn't have much structure to it. It doesn't have defined borders. It's just lightly sort of reverberating there. Some feeling spots have really defined borders. This one just sort of radiates out. I can't really tell too much about it. Sometimes they have feelings like, or colors. It doesn't have any color. It's just sort of this amorphous, like, conglomeration of unsettledness that I can notice. The easiest way for me to recognize that it's there is to say, what's going to be gone when this is gone, what's going to be different? And I know that that's the thing that's going to be different, this thing that's happening in front of my face and in front of my face. So I'm just exploring it. And that's the time, that's the piece of the in deeper process that takes the most time, because sometimes these things will shift quickly. Sometimes they can take quite a while. And so I'm not trying to force it out of there. I'm not trying to change it. I'm not saying no to it. All of my field around it is actually sort of still and peaceful. And it's just saying, yes, this is here. Yes, I notice this is here. Yes, I'm curious about it. Yes, what is happening here? And as I explore it, it starts to feel better. And if all I did was just simply feel that until there wasn't any of it left to feel, I would be done. But sometimes our emotional energy actually likes step 4 of the in deeper process, which is play. And play is anything that my imagination gives me to do with that energy. Some people are very, what's the word? Active. Like their imagination might say, oh, let me try pushing this energy from my face down lower in my body, which is really cool when you try that and you notice that, oh my gosh, it actually felt really unsettling up here, but maybe it really wants to stabilize me if I push it down to my hips, because our emotional energy is our energy and it responds to our intentions. It's very cool. Another way to play with it is just, for example, your imagination might go, oh, like what if it had a little safety valve on the top and I could just turn it and then I could feel it dissipate upwards like smoke. And then you get that idea and you give it a try. Or, you might go, oh, wouldn't it be great if I could just hand this off to, a helper that I have, a superpower or an imaginary figure or a spiritual helper, something like that, and just say, will you look after this for me? And so I can actually play with that and say, I'm going to give that a try, and then I'm going to notice what happens. But in this situation that I'm describing, one of the things that that occurred to me to play with it with was an idea, which was, oh, what if I could feel this? Like, what if this wasn't mine? In other words, one of the ways that I think emotional energy is like we tune into them like radio stations, like they just sort of exist, these fields exist out there. And as human beings, we can tune into them. So unsettledness, feeling unsettled or uneasy is a really common human experience. So the thought, if I say to myself, which I said to myself, what if this isn't mine? That instantly disengaged me from it. And so then I noticed, oh, it's just, I'm not tuned into it anymore. Just that thought gave me a shift. And I mean, there's lots of different thoughts to use to play with emotional energy. That's just the one that occurred to me yesterday. Let me see if there's anything else I want to say about playing with that. No, that's it for now. So with that thought, I can feel that I continue to feel that place in my body, right in front of my face and in my face where that sensation was. I could tell it's not there anymore. And this is the last step of the in deeper process, is to recheck, which means I take my awareness back to the place in my field or my body where that discomfort was, where my feeling spot was. And I just feel for what's it like now. And what I'm looking for and what I notice is that it's pure coherence. It's all peace. It's all calm. I can't sense any of that energy anymore. There's nothing left. If there was still something there, I would go back and continue to play with it, work with it until there wasn't any of it left. But here's the really cool thing about using the in deeper process and what happened afterwards. Because so the nature of the thoughts I was having before, sort of slightly unsettled, uneasy thoughts, matched the tone of the feeling in my body, right? The thoughts were uneasy, the feeling was uneasy. So the feeling in my body, in my face, is no longer uneasy. All I feel is peace and calm and okay. And actually, the whole thought about it sort of disappears. And it's because there's nothing really in me energetically that's drawing my attention to that situation. But later, you know, what occurred to me was a different way of thinking. I suddenly realized I had an insight about something that I actually wanted to do, that was exciting to me, that was just a possibility I hadn't considered before, that wasn't born out of like a need to change anything, but just excitement like, oh, I'd like to try this. And so that's what often happens and why I'm so committed to using the in deeper process and shifting my emotional energy because I always know that every time I let something um, that is uncomfortable as a feeling go, I suddenly get access to the types of thoughts that are from a much higher place, broader perspective, wiser, more joyful. Inspirations come, all kinds of things happen, and I'm so keen for that to happen. So that's my experience using the in deeper process yesterday, and I hope this is helpful. Bye.